Hi, the holidays are coming up and a couple of our favorite candies are Buckeyes and peanut butter cups, and I'm here to show you how to make them healthy, raw, and vegan. Hi, I'm getting ready for Christmas with all the holiday treats that I usually make each year, and our number one request was raw peanut butter cups. That got me to thinking, each year I make Buckeyes for Kenny. He loves his peanut butter and chocolate together. And I had a recipe that was handed down to me by my mom and her sisters, and it went back for several generations. And I thought, well, if I can do peanut butter cups, then I could do Buckeyes, because it's basically a peanut butter cup in a different form or a different shape. So here is what we're going to do. We got back in the kitchen, we started tweaking some recipes, trying to come up with a raw chocolate that would hold up, the peanut butter layer that would actually hold together, and here's what we came up with. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to show you how to do it now. First we're going to make the chocolate, and what I found was cacao wafers. They're raw cacao wafers, and they are kind of pricey, but I was lucky enough to find these at one of our local health food stores. They were buy one get one free, so that brought it down to a manageable state. If you are not really concerned about it being 100% totally raw, you can use chocolate chips. It's okay, just melt those for the chocolate, but we're trying to stay completely raw, so that's what I'm showing you today. So we're going to take about 2 cups of the cacao wafers. They're a little like this. They look like the kind that the candy melts that you get for making candy, but believe me, you cannot eat these. These are very, very bitter unless you really super bitter chocolate. But that's it. You put sweetener with it and it all turns out well. I'm going to put those in the double boiler, and if you don't have a double boiler, I just used a pan, a glass bowl, and put some water in a pan that would come up just under the bottom of the bowl, and set it in there. We'll bring that water to a boil and it'll melt the chocolate. And we're going to put about a dash of salt, just a little bit, some vanilla, and that's about a teaspoon, I guess. And you want to put your sweetener, and in this case we found that about half agave and half maple syrup was the best proportion and best flavoring blend for the flavor. So, but you can use really any kind of sweetener you prefer. And then we have coconut oil, and we're going to put that in there. And then we'll go to the stove and let this melt down to get a nice creamy, chocolatey consistency, and then we'll make the peanut butter layer. Okay, now we're going to make the peanut butter portion of the peanut butter cups. What I have here is 2 cups of peanut butter, and we're going to put the sweetener in, which again is half agave and half maple syrup. And some vanilla. And this time we don't need the salt because there's salt in the peanut butter. We're going to stir that around a little bit, get that stirred together. And this takes place of the powdered sugar and butter that is in the traditional peanut butter cups. I'll show you the rest of it in just a second. Now this is a sweetener. And now to make it thick enough, you can see how gooey it is. Now to thicken it up and make it where it's dense like a peanut butter cup, I have almond flour, and here we have about a cup of almond flour. And what you want to do, depending on how the 1 cup of almond flour is just approximate, because you don't know what brand of peanut butter you use, the consistency it is at the time. So start out with about 3/4 to a cup of almond flour, and you can always add more. Looks like I might actually have to add a little more to this one, but that's all okay. You just keep playing around with it till it comes out right. Yeah, we're going to need to add a little bit more. And I do about a tablespoon or 2 at a time. You don't want to go too far. and being almond flour, you can also use coconut flour if you want, but you need to use a grain-free flour, because otherwise you don't want it to come out like cake and get all gummy. You want it to be a nut-based or something like that. Okay, that looks like about right. So next we'll be putting it all together, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, now that I have this all stirred in and all the ingredients together, what I'm going to do is put it in the fridge for about maybe 15 minutes or so, just to let it help get firmed up a bit, kind of like you would a cookie dough or whatever. But just to get it nice and firmed up so you can handle it. And we'll be back in a minute. Hey, I'm back. I've got the peanut butter mixture that I had gotten out of the refrigerator, and I'm going to go ahead and make the Buckeyes to get the peanut butter part formed, because the mixture is really nice and cold right now. So what you do is you just take the peanut butter and gently roll it in your hands, and I pop it in a little cupcake liner to pop in the freezer to firm up before we dip them. Now the next step will be to make the peanut butter cups, and we need to get the chocolate, and I have a story about the chocolate. It happens to the best of us. I did not know that I had a crack in my bowl, and when I put everything in like I showed you before, I put it on the double boiler, had it heating up, and everything was going great, and I heard a big pop, and the bowl broke, the chocolate started leaking in, water came in, seized up the chocolate, and it was ruined. So I thought, okay, that's ruined, go to plan B. It happens, you just don't let that discourage you, you just go to plan B. So I pulled out my trusty old fondue pot that I've had for 100 years, and it still works great, and it keeps everything at such a low temperature that it still worked fine. In fact, I actually like this method better. So if you have an old fondue pot sitting around somewhere, pull it out and use it for your chocolate melting. It's great. So I've got the chocolate all mixed up. It's all nice and creamy. And for the peanut butter balls, what we're going to do, for the peanut butter cups, I'm sorry. I'm making too many things at one time here. Okay, you just take a little bit of the chocolate and you put it in the bottom of your cupcake liner. Now, you do basically the same thing as you did with the Buckeyes. You just take some peanut butter, roll it, and then flatten it out in like a little disc. And they'll fit in there nicely. I'll go ahead and get these made, and then probably pop this back in the fridge for a while before I make the next batch to finish this off. And I wanted to show you how it's done so you can get started on your own. Then I'll put this back in the fridge for the next batches. And then I'm going to take the chocolate and just cover each one. Another thing you could do, if you don't want to make all these little individual things, you can make some like this, and if you wanted to, you could put all the extra peanut butter in a pan lined with parchment paper, set that in the fridge, let it firm up, and then take this chocolate and spread it over the top of it, and then just cut it in pieces. Okay. Now these will go in the freezer and they'll firm up, and when we get back, we're going to, these will be ready to eat, but these will be nice and firm, and we'll dip them in the chocolate, and we'll have Buckeyes, chocolate covered peanut butter. Hey, now I'm putting the chocolate on the Buckeyes, turning them into the actual Buckeyes. And what I did, I melted the chocolate as I showed you earlier, and it was actually a happy accident that the other one broke, because when I pulled out the fondue pot, I had found the fondue forks. So that made a perfect way to get the Buckeyes into the chocolate without too much of a mess. I usually use a toothpick or a skewer, and that didn't work as well, but the fork having the 2 tines on it made it really nice. So you just dip it in, swirl it around, and then put it over onto I have parchment covered cookie sheet here. Now after we do this, we're gonna put those back into the freezer, let them set up. I'm gonna go ahead and you can take your finger and kind of smooth out the hole if you want to, but it really doesn't make that much difference. It's part of the character of it. So now we're done with the Buckeyes. So now we're going to go ahead and stick these in the freezer, let them set up, and we'll come back and I bet Kenny will do a taste test for us. Okay, I'm getting these plated up. These are the peanut butter cups, and I've got one more to go. So you just peel it off. And there you have the peanut butter cups. You can see the layers of chocolate and peanut butter, and they look delicious, they smell good, and they're just like the traditional peanut butter cup, and I hope everybody will enjoy. I know Kenny will, and I know I will too. Well, hey, look what I made for you.
Wow, that looks good.
Raw Buckeyes and raw peanut butter cups. You didn't think I could do it, did you?
You do it every year.
Okay. Well, which do you want to try first?
Buckeyes, sounds good.
Okay. Oh my goodness. I did it.
That's excellent. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. We upload videos every week with healthy tips and recipes. And don't forget to download the free Christmas recipe ebook in the description below. Happy holidays!
Happy holidays!